Hi Sagittarius, welcome to your March 2025 AstroTarot with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, these are for your Sun, Moon and Ascendant sign, so check them out for all three so that you know which part of you I resonate with most as a reader. With that said, remember they are general readings. Not everything's going to resonate with everybody. That is just fine. Use your own discernment. And I also forgot to mention, so for those of you that would like to know, I'm using whole sign tropical Western astrology for those of you that would like to know. And also, if you're only going to watch one of these, watch for your ascendant first. It's going to be the most accurate on that day-to-day level. With that said, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise. They help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. All right, so I'm going to pop these to the side and these will be for the bulk of your read. So the first transit, and if I ever forget to mention the dates or the degrees of the transit, you will find that stuff in the description box below. So for your oh my gosh, my brain has gone completely to mush. Sagittarius, 5th house. On the 2nd of March, Venus is going to go retrograde in your 5th house. Venus for you rules your 6th house of your physical health and vitality, but she also rules your 11th house of your friendships and your social circle, right? So, in your 5th house, which is a trine to you, so this is going to be a beneficial transit until it then obviously moves back into Pisces as a part of this transit. Now, Venus retrograde in the 5th of creativity, pleasure, joy, romance, sex, self-expression. It's a transit that's really inviting you to revisit or to rethink about your creative passions and maybe consider whether your current romantic relationships or even your artistic projects and pursuits are really if they're really if they are things that you value, right? If your values are really being fulfilled here, you might find yourself reconnecting with an old hobby, maybe revisiting a past romance of some sort, reflecting on the joy or the pleasure in your life. And because it also rules the 6th house, there could be a work element to this, right? Remember, the 6th house also represents the 5th house, also represents your personal business. It really is a time for a good glow up, right? Venus in the 6th can bring a glow up, but I like the one in the 5th house for this as well, especially if you're returning to like an old physical hobby. Now, I will say, be very cautious about making permanent aesthetic changes unless you were born with Venus retrograde in your natal chart. Use this period to explore temporary enhancements or experiment with your style. This is not a time to get tattoos. This is not a time to have elective surgery, right? It's not a time to go and get your lips done, your facelift and all the rest of it. The reason being is it usually ends up that you have to have it done again or you don't like the results. So just be extra careful around this time. Now, because it also rules your social circle and your creative or romantic goals, it's a moment where you might feel ready to go it alone, right? Competing only with yourself to achieve your personal best instead of sort of competing against others in any way. Think about any tendencies that you've got to overindulge, because these, you can become a little bit over idealistic at this time. And maybe think about how you can refine any of your creative visions. So you got the 2 of Cups. So there's going to be a romantic slice to this, right? With the 10 of Swords. Okay. And the 4 of Cups. So there's some considerations around a relationship here. A romantic one. If you're partnered, married or in a long-term commitment. If there's felt like there's been an emotional disconnect between you, this transit could actually really help you get to the root or the bottom, or like to the root cause of it. So this could actually be a very good thing. If you are single and looking, this might see you looking to a past relationship that maybe really hurt you, that didn't feel right to you in some way, or maybe where you just kind of say, oh, you know what, actually, I don't want to be, I don't want any part in this. you know, like, and what I mean by this is, like, it might be that you look at your dating history and say to yourself, okay, that's how I've done relationships before, and how I'm going to do it moving forward will be vastly different. So it's kind of like you're breaking with the past of relationships in some way. Also possible, because Libra is the 11th house. If you're single, this could be that maybe you are connecting with a friend who you live close to, or etc. That you, because obviously Venus rules the 6th, so that's the local environment. So this could be a friendship in your local environment that goes from being a friendship and turns into something more. For your, on the 12th of the month, we have the Sun conjunct Saturn. So a Saturn Cazimi in your 4th house of home, family, property, your foundations, your emotional foundations. Since Saturn for you rules your 2nd house of money, finances and resources, and your 3rd house of contracts, commitments, learning, also your local environment. This could be where you are solidifying, maybe because the Sun for you also rules your 9th house. So this could be that there's something that you're choosing to upskill or up level with or in. It could be that you are maybe gaining some kind of either temporary employment or connection with somebody overseas. That's really funny because I've got a buddy who lives overseas who is... So we would be foreign to each other, and actually I do wonder if that's us working together. That could be really exciting. Another way that this could show up, because it's a Cazimi, right, and it's in that 4th house, this could see you solidifying your emotional foundations, especially because this Cazimi is receiving a really nice trine from Mars, who's newly direct in your 8th house. So far, 2 of your, or both of your financial houses are being activated through this Cazimi, which means that there is a financial element to this as well. There's also potentially you looking at something from your past that has maybe created a wound around finances, or maybe from or through the family, and you're addressing it now. And it's like whatever you set into motion on a more personal level or personally led level, it really sets something into motion for long-term wealth. Right? So consider this an investment of time and perhaps your emotions that eventually pays off significantly. The work that you put into building a solid foundation right now is really going to serve you in the years to come. So that could be great. So for this, you've got the 9 of Pentacles. Yeah, absolutely. Look at that, right? With the 7 of Swords. Okay. And the 3 of Swords. So one way that this could show up, Mars in the 8th, any sort of secret or hidden, I don't want to say self-sabotaging tendency, but it does feel like where maybe something has been an overindulgence, or potentially because it's the 8th house being indicated as well, maybe something that you've been afraid of that you see now and kind of say to yourself, like, actually, I don't know why I was afraid of this, because I've never had any reason to be afraid. Do you know what I mean? It's like maybe you realize now that some kind of fear that you had was irrational. It could also be with the 7 of Swords that something that you have, something's revealed to you at this time through a moment of enjoyment, actually, where you come to kind of say, okay, this is kind of like a self-sabotaging tendency, or, you know, this early childhood experience that I had has created this false narrative for me that I'm now ready to break away from. So that could be an interesting one as well. And I mean, even wealthy people that I've spoken to, and I've worked with a lot of wealthy people in my, in my practice outside of this. And everyone's parents leaves them with money stuff is something that I've come to come to understand. So very, very interesting point. And I say that because it may be that this is about. Now, for on the 18th, you have the Sun in a conjunction to the North Node in the 4th house. So your eclipse cycle is currently bouncing back and forth through the 4th and the 10th. Whenever we have eclipses in the 4th and the 10th, or the 1st and the 7th, we feel them on a visceral level, and they tend to play out very real, like very real world ways, because they're what we call the angular houses. So the sun coming into a conjunction in the north node, it's a fated or a destined moment in your home or your family life. Maybe some kind of big realization. You've got the ninth house as the ruler of the sun as a part of this. The sun as the ruler of the ninth house of Leo there. Maybe you encounter an opportunity to create a living situation that feels more sort of true to who you are. It's a transit that might also bring some kind of fated connection with a family member or someone who feels like home to you. And another way that this could show up is maybe a moment where someone or something enters your home for the better. This could be anything from, the ninth house is large animals, so unless you've got space to keep a horse or cows or donkeys or whatever, it's probably not going to be that. I was going to say a pet, and I don't know. I do wonder, maybe, especially because you've got Uranus in the sixth there, which is the house of pets. It could also be a really significant sort of turning point in your emotional outlook that's bringing clarity, maybe a sense of purpose, and also potentially a sense of peace. Listen to the synchronicities at the moment and think about how you can sort of deepen your connections to your roots and create a more nurturing space for yourself and for your loved ones. There's something about this that really feels like Pisces, Sagittarius is like opening up their wings in some way, even though you guys are centaurs. For this, you've got the Queen of Pentacles. Yeah, there'll be a financial slant to this for sure. You've got the Five of Swords, okay, and you've got the Seven of Cups. There's something here that you will have to battle out. And this may very well come about because, so if you're partnered, your partner could be saying, look, you know what, you're overthinking this, or you're making it bigger than it needs to be. And you might be like, no, that's how it has to be. It's like maybe your vision at the moment is a bit too grandiose compared to what the practicality of it is. So if you're partnered, just listen to your partner on this one. There's something that they obviously can see or have considered that maybe you haven't. Outside of that, this is a really incredible moment because it represents something fated. In order to get the most out of it, Queen of Pentacles, your advice here would be to not add more to the plate. This is one of those times where, and I know you're going to hate to hear this, Saggy, but less really is more. Okay, and then on the 20th of the month, Neptune will conjunct the sun. So Neptune goes Cazimi on the 20th. Now, this is also in your fourth house. What's really important to consider here is that Neptune is going to move into Aries, which I'll be talking about shortly. But one of the things that I want you to be really conscious of here is that this is the last time that you'll have this transit. The next time that the sun conjuncts Neptune or Neptune goes Cazimi, it will be in the sign of Aries, right? So this is the last one. You've had this for 14 years. This is the last one of them. It's, you might feel drawn to create more, like a more peaceful, harmonious home environment. You might feel like more drawn to plush spiritual tones and things that feel a bit more sensual. You might even feel like your home needs to have that sanctuary feel to it, and of course it should do for everybody, but you might feel this really powerful drive to make it sort of soft edges and plush cushions and little snugs in the area where you can just sort of curl up in a ball with a book and just not be seen, or listen to or watch the rain. And there's just some really interesting concepts here, I feel. And because this is about your deep emotional outlook, that Neptune energy might really bring it might soothe any frayed edges, but it could also see you seeing family members in a bit more of an idealistic way. So just keep that in mind. Obviously, this is a very psychic house as well. The 4th, the 8th, and the 12th are very psychic. And if that is the case, I just want you to consider, your intuition will be firing on all cylinders, but you just want to make sure that you're seeing everything through that as well as like the practical side of it, because remember, Neptune can distort things as well. For this, you've got the Seven of Pentacles, you've got the Six of Pentacles, okay, and you've got the King of Wands. So Saggies, there is something here that you feel like you have a need to really sort of amplify. I will say that this looks to me though like you're going above and beyond for something, and it might be a complete waste of money. So just watch out for this, because another way that this could also show up as well, Neptune in the fourth, is problems or challenges with or around the water or waters or plumbing of your home. All right, so just make sure you fortify and double check those things as well. Okay, and then the final transit that I want to talk about is Neptune on the 31st will move into the sign of Aries, into your 5th house of creativity and joy and romance and self-expression. This is a long-term transit. It's going to bring a spiritual and idealistic tone to all of your creative endeavors and even your love life in some regard. What I love about this is there is a feeling here of you being able to really like just tap into that creative wellspring that resides within you, right? Your creativity could be immense. Your creative juices might be flowing. You might just have loads of ideas, whether you're writing, singing, dancing, like anything that you're engaging in, any form of self-expression. You might feel that you're really like, you know, you're just pouring out absolute creativity. It's making it easier for you to channel your vision into tangible creations. Obviously it is Neptune, so just be careful with unrealistic expectations. It's a time to really dream big, right? And since the 5th house is your personal business, this might be a time where you feel like you want to amplify your reach in some way. It could also be that you're starting to dive into your artistic projects or explore creative practices, like on a maybe even a spiritual level, right? Like psychic art. And oh my gosh, I saw this. Last year, you know, I went on a training, and as part of that training, there was a demonstration of a psychic artist. And this woman, I mean, her skill alone, you know, with a pen and chalks and crayons and everything was just absolutely incredible, right? And the fact that, you know, she was being told by a psychic what to draw and just drawing it was really, really something special to behold. You know, I'm always in awe of people that have artistic ability like that. Like, creatively, like, I'm a brilliant songwriter, I'm a fair singer, I would say, but you know, people that can actually draw like with their hands and make something look amazing and come to life, I'm always sort of awe-inspired by that. So, you know, this could be one of those times. If you're an artist, this is your time to shine. You've got the next 20 years to shine, right? Okay. For this, you have the King of Swords. So this is where you get to become a creative expert with the Two of Wands and potentially sell some of your work with the Knight of Pentacles, and potentially even, maybe you're even traveling or exhibiting some of your art or your medium of arts and creativity and stuff like that. This could be really, really exciting. Love it. Absolutely love it. With that said, let's get into your lunations. But before we do, I just want to mention, remember, so now is the time where you can sign up to my tarot course. It's a 12-week course. You get 12 live classes. You get 2 live Q&As. You get a live client demo. You get live client practice. On top of that, you get loads of PDFs and other little bonuses in there as well. If you've ever wanted to study tarot and you want to take your reading from that beginner to intermediate level, or even refresh at that intermediate level and take it, you know, even further, this is a good time to do so. You can sign up on the link in the description box below. As if that wasn't enough, You have spoken, and I have come up with, for those of you that have always wanted to take my course, but the time difference or all of that kind of stuff that gets in the way from the life stuff, you can now study my tarot course in your own time. I am doing a double launch where you can sign up for Teach Yourself Tarot. It's the same amount of weeks, 12 weeks, so it's actually 13 for this one. There's no live component, so you do it as and when in your own time, and you can study in your own time. So if you're either which way, right? If you want to study with me, remember the live class, there's only 20 spaces because I want to be able to give you one-to-one attention. There's no limit on the Teach Yourself Tarot course. So if you're interested in that, this is your moment. You have a full moon lunar eclipse in the sign of Virgo in your 10th house on that south node. This is going to see you releasing or letting go of a career platform, idea or endeavor. You're moving in a completely different direction here, which I think could be really good for you in some regard. One of the things that I do want to highlight to you as well is this is your ambition, right? This is you striving for your name, your public persona, your legacy out in the world. And when we have eclipses in the 4th and the 10th, what our home life wants and needs from us and what our professional life wants and needs from us, they tend to kind of butt heads in some way. So you got to let go of what's not really supporting your career growth and maybe find a way to build on a legacy that feels like it's you being true to yourself. For this, you've got the gate 39 and provocation. Yeah, I can see that happening. This card is about someone or some external factor giving you a bit of a challenge or a bit of a kick in the butt that says, right, okay, and it makes you kind of get real about something and say, okay, this is what I'm being told. I don't like to hear that. So here's what I'm going to do about it. There'll be something that life itself really presents you with to create the dynamic tension within you to do something about it or to bring about some kind of change. And then finally, on the 29th of the month, we've got the last partial solar eclipse, new moon solar eclipse in the sign of Aries in your 5th house of creativity, joy and romance. Remember, a new moon eclipse, especially as a north node eclipse, is about a beginning, a big beginning or a fresh start in some way. So something is opening up or expanding for you in your romance sector, in your creative sector, which we've seen with that advent of Neptune moving in there, right? So big stuff for you guys. And then for this, you've got the gate 3 and begin. Whatever you are starting at the moment, it's really going to be a big part of your future. It may have a difficult birth in some regard, but it will be something that stands the test of time, I feel. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic March. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.